Life is full of ups and downs, twists and turns, and unexpected challenges. In these moments of uncertainty, it's easy to feel lost, alone, and afraid. But as Christians, we have an assurance that the world cannot offer. We have a God who is faithful, trustworthy, and always with us. The Bible is full of promises that we can hold on to when we're feeling lost or uncertain. For example, Psalms chapter 9 verse 10 says, "Those who know your name trust in you. For you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you." This verse reminds us that God is always with us, even when we feel like we're alone in the world. We can trust in Him and find comfort in His presence. When we put our faith in God, we're putting our trust in someone who never fails, someone who always keeps their promises. We're putting our trust in a God who created us, who knows us better than we know ourselves, and who has a plan for our lives that is far greater than anything we could ever imagine. So why do we struggle to rely on God's assurance? Why do we doubt His promises and question His plans for us? Perhaps it's because we're too busy looking for answers in the wrong place, or because we've been hurt by disappointment and failure so many times before. Another powerful promise comes from Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10, which says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you with my righteous right hand." This verse reminds us that God is our strength and our helper, and He will never leave us to face our struggles alone. But the truth is, God's assurance is the only thing that can truly bring us peace and comfort in times of uncertainty. When we learn to trust in God's promises, we can let go of our fears and doubts and find strength to face whatever challenges comes our way. So how do we rely on God's assurance in our daily lives? It starts with prayer and reading the Bible. When we spend time in God's Word, we're reminded of His promises and His faithfulness. We can also turn to Him in prayer, asking for His guidance and His peace in our lives. But relying on God's assurance also means letting go of our own plans and trusting in His. As Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." I want to encourage you to rely on God's assurance. Trust in His promises. Trust in His promises. And believe that He has a plan for your life that is greater than anything you could ever imagine. Let go of your fears and doubts and find the peace and comfort that only God can provide. When we rely on God's assurance, we are allowing ourselves to be guided by His divine plan for our lives. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. This verse reminds us that God has a purpose for our lives and that we can trust in His plan. It's important to remember that relying on God's assurance doesn't mean that our lives will be free from challenges or hardships. In fact, as Christians, we are called to take up our cross and follow Jesus, even if it means enduring suffering and persecution. But even in the midst of our struggles, we can find hope and strength in God's promises. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10, God says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This verse reminds us that God is always with us, even in our darkest moments, and that He will give us the strength we need to persevere. Remember, God is always with you, and He will never leave you or forsake you. He is your rock, your fortress, and your protector. So trust in Him and know that He has greater things in store for your life. With God's assurance, you can face anything that comes your way and emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before.